Welcome to Life on Track, the TV series and the podcast where it's all about helping you get into the driver's seat of your own life. Not my life, not Jenny's life, nobody else's life, but yours, personally and professionally. I'm your host, Erin, and I'd love to get right into it because I have this amazing guest, Jenny Mulks, here. And I'm going to read Jenny's bio because she's absolutely amazing, life-saving, and you should really have a cape. You should be donning a cape every day that you get out of bed. So this is Jenny. Jenny is a mom, cancer coach, TEDx speaker, international author, patient advocate, philanthropist, and cancer thriver. She's the founder and CEO of Along Comes Hope, nonprofit organization serving children with cancer. Their mission is to provide service through financial assistance, emotional support, advocacy for change, awareness, and education. Jenny had a personal battle in 2006 with a rare and aggressive cancer called, and you're going to have to correct me on this one, cholangiocarcinoma, giving her, giving her only 6 to 12 months left to live, to survive. Thriving against many odds, not only did she survive and thrive, it changed her entire life and career. She had previously been 14 years in pharmaceuticals and a regional manager. After her miraculous healing with cancer, she left the corporate world to serve children with cancer. Then she became an accidental cancer coach to adults. She began getting calls from across the country from newly diagnosed patients and caregivers for support and guidance. Because of this, she created the Circle of Hope Cancer Support, guiding those touched by cancer with emotional, spiritual, physical, social, environmental, and financial awareness, and all things wellness. Jenny's virtual sessions and guidance at the Circle of Hope Cancer Support serves all ages, and it's free to all Along Comes Hope families of children with cancer. Welcome, Jenny. Welcome to Life on Track.
Thank you, Erin. It's so great to be here. I appreciate it.
It's an honor and a pleasure. And you were on my summit a long time ago, back in 2017 or 2018. And it was my first one, Thrive Onward and Upward with Cancer. You were absolutely amazing. And you've been doing amazing work ever since. And I consider you a friend. So
absolutely.
Tell us about, first of all, the first question I ask everybody for years is, how did you get into doing what you're doing and why? Because this is really important.
Well, after reading my short bio,
I know.
You asked for the short version. I'm like, well, that's short. A lot happens once cancer hits, right?
Yes.
And so taking it from there, that is what happened. So when cancer hit, obviously, for those of you that know that you've been touched by cancer, you know it shifts your entire life. At the time, I was only 38 years old, a single mom to a 4-year-old little boy, and a sole provider. So it really rocked my world. And you would think, being in California, that we would have so many choices for treatment, right? But with cholangiocarcinoma, which you said it right, and my dog wanted to join us too.
I love
that. Cholangiocarcinoma, there's not many places that even knew about it. There was no protocol for it at the time. Very rare, very aggressive. So being in the pharmaceutical industry, I knew how to be my own advocate. I knew what to look for treatment protocols, for outcomes, whatnot. Ended up, after 5 different doctors, I ended up deciding to be treated in Houston. Wow. So flying out of my little town in San Luis Obispo, California, back and forth to Houston for, I can't even tell you how many flights and how much money that I must have spent in that year of treatment. It just opened my eyes to the fact that I had, good benefits. I had a good support system. I had all the things to give me a chance, but so many people don't.
Yeah.
And God really put it upon my heart that it was like, you need to do something for the children with cancer, because I couldn't imagine having to choose affordability versus survivability for my child.
Right.
And when I was in the hospital, have you ever been to MD Anderson or the medical center in Houston area?
No.
Okay. It's huge. I hope you don't ever have to go. But it's 7 miles of just skyscraper medical institutions. A lot of research is being done there. Great things are happening there. But my hospital overlooked 2 other towers, and I spent a lot of time there. And those towers happened to be Children's Hospital. And I was so homesick for my baby, and all I wanted to do was be at home. But I couldn't imagine my child over there in those towers. And I couldn't imagine him being there alone, because I had to be home at work or, taking care of the other children, and thinking of all these scenarios that would happen as a single parent. So after I went back from, after treatment, going back to work and trying to rebuild my savings because that got wiped out. I didn't work for a year.
Right.
Um, God just put it upon my heart that it was time to make a difference. So I leaped off that corporate cliff April 1st of 2013 into the arms of hope.
I am so happy that you did, because you've just been changing lives, saving families, saving them from bankruptcy and from emotional bankruptcy and, in so many different ways. And your heart is so big. When I was at Sloan in Manhattan getting treated for the non-Hodgkin's lymphoblastic lymphoma, and I saw the children with the IVs and no hair and the whole thing that goes with it, it broke my heart. And
Yeah,
like, I commend you for being able to work with those children. Like, it broke my heart. Yeah, I could work with the parents,
right.
but all I would want to do is just hold those children all day long and just give them hugs. So how did you step into building Along Comes Hope and say, you know what, I'm focusing on the children?
Well, that unmet need, realizing that so many families, as soon as, even me, so my friends started a fundraiser for me, and that was really hard to swallow. I didn't realize how much financial issues you would get into.
Right.
It's like going and gambling, you're rolling the dice. You don't know what that medical bill is going to be.
Yeah.
So it was actually one of my very close friends that lost a child to cancer that reached out and said, "We really want to do a fundraiser for you. I know this is uncomfortable." Type A personalities were like, "No, I got it. We can do this." And she
I know.
said, "You have no idea what's coming." And
Yeah.
she did, because she'd been there.
Wow.
And I said, "I just don't want to know anything about it." Ego, ego.
Yeah.
And then I realized, biblically too, part of being it's important to be a gracious recipient, and you're
Yeah.
allowing people to give to you as well as when they're giving to you, it's a gift.
Yes.
So it started in that way, realizing how much money that I was burning through with stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, these children have to have a leg up. Like, they have to have a leg in the game. If I couldn't have afforded to get where I needed to go, I wouldn't be alive.
I know.
And the
Yeah.
kids needed that. So
Yeah.
the other thing was, if it wasn't for social media, I wouldn't have been able to get the word out so much. So
Oh.
it really was, it was a really great way to use Facebook, because that was the time that Facebook was really starting to get big in my world, 2013. But it was, what I was saying, when people are starting their own fundraisers, because every family that has a child with cancer, then they start up Team Bobby, and they keep everybody updated on Facebook, and they'll do fundraisers. And so the families started telling each other about Along Comes Hope. And then the hospitals and the physician staff and their supporting staff, their social workers, they would then refer us out. So our mission grew as we realized the needs actually were bigger than just financial support for travel for treatment. Then we were like, okay, emotional support's huge.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yep.
how years were you in treatment?
2.5 years.
Yeah, it's not just, okay, one trip and you're done.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
years, it's a marathon. So we're like, we need to sustain these families emotionally with emotional support programs too.
And then you become the professional patient. It's not just when you're done with treatments, you literally, that becomes a lifestyle for a long time.
Yes, you get more educated about something you never wanted to be educated about. And then I was seeing how we were taking all this action, but it was like nothing was happening on a larger scale, meaning these kids need better rights. They need better access to treatment, better access to care, better access to survival programs, because secondary cancers are so huge. So then I got into the advocacy work.
Yes.
And so, I mean, it's just it's grown.
I
Um,
want you to talk about the advocacy that you do, because I spoke with you a couple of years ago and you're like, yeah, I'm heading to Capitol Hill. And we spoke just briefly before getting on here, and you were talking about what you're doing still on Capitol Hill. So
yeah,
can you tell everybody what it is that you're doing to change things up?
absolutely.
I'm so
So
proud of you.
tomorrow, actually, so the timing was so funny that you asked about it, because tomorrow is Advocacy Days on Capitol Hill right here in my house.
I love it.
So they're doing virtual still.
Okay.
Um, but I mean, honestly, we probably are having a better attendance for advocates that are jumping on board, because we can meet with our representatives and our senators right in the convenience of your home. You can
Yeah.
also send letters. Um, if any child, if your child or anybody that's watching, their child was diagnosed with cancer, you would want people to step up and make a difference. So one of the biggest acts that were passed was passed 5 years ago, called the STARS Act. And it's about survivability, it's about access, and it's about patient care. So we're up now 5 years. It needs to be renewed, but it was on both sides of the aisle. It was very well received. So I feel like that's going to be a slam dunk.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just going to say this.
Yeah. Yes. I would hope that they'd have a conscience, and a heart, and
Yes.
show up with a brain and
Right.
pass it
Right.
again. Yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
and make themselves feel good about doing something really positive.
Yes. Yeah.
And then
It's
the
a big
other thing
deal.
is we're asking the NIH, the National Institute of Health, for a lot more money for cancer research overall, because a funnel of that also goes into studies for childhood cancer. And so a couple of the parents that I'm advocating with, both of their kids, so one of their children he's 11 and he's had brain cancer 3 times.
Oh.
And had there not been research, every one of his treatments have been in a research clinical study.
Oh.
And
Okay.
same thing with the mom that's with our group. Her daughter has relapsed before, so she's faced cancer twice. Same thing. She's been in a study, and had these not been funded, these children wouldn't have had the treatment options, and they probably would not be here today.
It's unbelievable.
So the advocacy work is really important.
It is. And you're spearheading so much of it for these kids. And I love seeing the pictures of you in the costume. Well, you do it all. You literally, you do it all. I love it. Who is that?
By day, I run a nonprofit. And by night, I wear a giant bear suit with a giant bear head.
I love you. I love you. So this giant bear, what's the giant bear's name?
Hope the Bear. Hope
Hope.
the Bear it gets a lot of notoriety. It's funny because when we take Hope the Bear it is a giant mascot. Seriously, the head is like
I've seen it. It's amazing. I love
and
it.
the kids love it, but there's a
Oh,
couple that
sure.
hate it. They're like, "Ah!"
Terrified.
Leave real quick. But the cool thing is when we're handing out the little bears, our little Hope the Bears, it's so fun for Hope the Bear to take the baby bear into the kids and hand them off. It's like, the kids love it.
And you're creating amazing memories. Like, it may seem like it's something so simple for you, or just, adorable for other people. You're creating memories for these kids, and you're giving kids hope.
Right.
Which is what the bear is all about, which is huge.
Well, I mean, we all remember from childhood our favorite stuffed animals, and a bear always signifies to me, comfort and trust and a companion.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about Hope the Bear, it literally is custom designed only for Along Comes Hope. You can only get it on our website. We do sell it retail to raise money for Along Comes Hope. But you can also donate a bear to a child. All of our children get a Hope the Bear, and it comes in a little backpack. And it also has a poem, because the purple collar around its neck is to be symbolize the purple heart that our soldiers go through when they face a battle, and bravery, right? And courage.
Wow, yes.
So the poem is about bravery and courage and overcoming your obstacles.
Huh.
But my favorite thing about Hope the Bear is inside the paw is a recording device. And so the kids can have mom or dad or their best friends record a message, and that message can change every day.
Oh, that is so cool.
Cool. We have one family, they called him Leo the Brave Heart. And he was such an amazing kid. Unfortunately, he didn't make his journey, but his family and friends would constantly, daily, they would change the message, because they'd leave a message on the cell phone and then they'd record it for him. And so it became something magical for him.
Wow. And like you said, that, they'll never forget it. The families and the joy that you're bringing to these families, and just seeing the smiles on the kids' faces when, like you said, they're like soldiers. They're constantly in this fight, and to see them smile and give them and bring them joy.
Yes.
That's all anybody on this planet is looking for: the love, joy, and inner peace.
That's right.
And that's all anybody wants. And you're providing that through your company, through your nonprofit, through the bear, and through you, because that's your heart. That's who you are, Jenny. I love it. And then you have the other one that you started, Circle of Hope Cancer Support. Tell us
Yeah.
about that.
Well, it actually feeds into Along Comes Hope as well. And it's it's kind of multifaceted in the fact that I coach cancer patients, adults and caregivers, but then there's also, you know, my parents and the siblings and the families that need this wellness aspect. And yet there's just one of me when I coach people, you know, there's only so many hours in a day, right? But I felt like there was something missing. Like we need to be able to provide a resource for them to go to at midnight, you know, or whatever, when you wake up with monkey mind and you need a connection. So Circle of Hope Cancer Support it's going to evolve to, right now it's still in the early beta stages, but it is live. It's all about really bringing people through the wellness journey of cancer, because it's not, cancer and treating cancer is not just about the medicine.
Right.
It is, you know, really working on mind, body, heart, and soul. And even if we're all terminal. We're all leaving this earth at
Right.
some
Right.
point,
That's
right? We just don't
guaranteed.
know.
Yeah.
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 Unfortunately, we are, but we don't know that date. So even if our cancer journey is only going to allow us 3 months to be here, if we can fill it with more peace and love and legacy and connection with our loved ones, and just a real sense of clarity and spirituality, how much more are you and your caregivers going to get out of life
Yeah.
than if you just were flying by the seat of your pants and in fear, 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 anger, anger, you know?
Right.
And
And
we
they're not
don't,
going to go ahead.
go ahead.
I was going to say, and people don't get well if they're constantly in fear and anger and cortisol is flying. It's
Exactly. Your
counterintuitive.
adrenal glands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you're bringing, you know, and I'm a firm believer in meditation and visualization as part of the cure, humor as part of the cure, because it brings calm.
Yes.
It calms
Yes.
the body, which allows homeostasis to happen. And this is what you're bringing them. I want
Yes.
you to also speak about can serve. I love what you did with that. Can serve.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
Well, I'm a firm believer also of the power of words. So we
Yes.
can put a different energy on any word,
Yeah.
the way we say it, the way that it's served up. And when anybody hears the word cancer, we don't go, oh,
Yeah.
cancer's a scary big word.
Yeah. Heavy.
But I look at how I took my journey with cancer and turn it into a life of service. And so that's taking that big scary word can serve and turning it into two enlightening words of can serve, and taking that journey and becoming of service. And that's part of the Circle of Hope also, is to encourage people to serve one another, even if it's patient to caregiver. How are you in service to each other? And then how are you helping that next person in line that's been diagnosed or whatnot? We all
Yeah.
have the opportunity to serve.
I love it. And I believe happiness comes from having your hand out in service to somebody else. You
Yes.
know, it comes from within. We can't count on other people to make us happy. We can count on them adding to our happiness. But like you said, everybody walking the planet can serve and be
That's
in
right.
service to other people. And
And it doesn't mean you have to quit your corporate job and start a nonprofit.
no, but you at work, you know,
You know?
I had a book come out last year called Work Love, and it's about bringing love into the world, specifically the workplace. You can be in service, you know, you can serve even at work.
Yep.
You know, just the golden rule, you know, all the
Exactly.
golden rule, and you're in service. You can serve in the way you're speaking about, from the heart. And there's so many things that people can do. And what about people that they don't know how to persevere? They don't know how to push through the self-limiting beliefs and the self-doubt, because I believe that self-doubt is just a dream crusher.
Yes.
You know, what do you suggest people do when they're going through treatments, or the children are going through treatments? What do you suggest that they do so that they can overcome that self-doubt and that fear?
Affirmations,
Mm,
visualizations, walking them through a meditation to take them out of the fear into a safe space, with color, with music, with imagery. There's a lot of things that are subconscious blockers that they don't even know are there, that can be self-sabotaging. Also lack of connection. So we experienced that in the world of COVID. I feel
yeah,
like to me, it was this aha moment when we got isolated so quick. And I went, wow, the entire world is seeing through the eyes of a cancer patient, meaning
Mm.
we're isolated. We can't get sick. You're afraid of a virus because then you
Right.
can't stop treatment. You are being removed from things you love. Your daily activities change. And it was just like, this is a great awakening and a great awareness for
Yeah,
people to have compassion and empathy for others that are isolated because of disease.
you're right. And what it is, and what during the 2020 here in New York, it was insane,
Oh,
with
I
the
bet.
isolation, and there's so many people that were dying. And you're right. I mean, it was just that fear of like, I could die today, or
Right.
tomorrow, or wear the mask, and it is very similar to the cancer experience. And I think because I had the cancer experience, my thought process was, what's the creative opportunity here? Like,
Right.
the sky was falling for everybody else, and I'm like, what's the creative opportunity
How
here?
do I help you? Yes.
Yeah, how can I help people? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
How
when
can
you
I talk you down?
yes, and when you switch into gratitude and you find things to be grateful for, gratitude and faith. Yeah, I would love for you to speak about gratitude and faith. I love, that whole conversation. It'll
Yes.
switch people out of the fear, lack, and scarcity, out of that fear of illness and fear of any kind of fear when
Right.
you switch into gratitude. Can you speak about that?
Of
And faith?
course. I think with the number one thing with gratitude is it takes the focus off of you.
Yeah.
So you're seeking outside things of the grace that you're being given. No matter what that day is and what that day brings, you can find something to be grateful for. And sometimes that's all you need, inch by inch, to pull yourself out of that mode. And that's where I tie in hope too, because the dark moments, as you know, they roller coaster. If you have the skills with breathing techniques, gratitude, taking those moments to breathe through, finding what you're grateful for.
Yeah.
It takes that victim mentality. It takes the anger away. It lightens the entire experience for you and takes you out of yourself. I
And
think
life gets to be fun.
yes,
Life gets to be fun. It really does. It's less heavy.
yep,
It's less serious, like in that real heavy kind of a way, and it
yeah.
becomes fun.
Exactly. And that's where the circle of hope. So I've created 2 coaching courses, and it's really like, okay, you've been hit with a diagnosis. Now what? You don't even know what to do, but don't get on and play Dr. Google because you're going to give up.
No, no, yeah.
So those 2 courses, course number 1 is totally free. Course number 2 is a paid course. But it's part of the circle of hope that also our listeners will get a good discount for, and it's not an expensive thing anyway. Um, but it's so important to go, all right, now what do I do? And to really find some guidance that's positive and
Right.
fun. And so my courses are kind of serious, and I'm not a serious person. So that's where we like to have fun with the other coaches that I'm bringing in, that it's like, hey, let's have some fun. Life is to be lived and fun.
Yes. Yes. And your nonprofit is, like I said, bringing that to the world, and
Yes.
you're touching everybody that you encounter. So whether it's a child with cancer or somebody that doesn't have cancer, your presence and what you do is so inspiring for everybody in the
Oh,
room. Like,
thank
you're
you.
just a beacon of light, and I love that. And I want to get into your free gift also.
Yes.
Let's talk about your free gift.
So the premium membership is $59 a month. So every week there are 2 to 3 live webinars, plus there's discounts on products and services, everything wellness that you had mentioned in my opening bio. If you think about mind, body, heart, and soul, we've got all kinds of different healing practitioners on board that will be on there. So it will be half off for all your listeners with your code of Erin50 COH, and COH is for Circle of Hope. And when you say yes to it, you are also helping families of children with cancer, because all of our families of children with cancer have the premium membership for free.
I love you. I
Oh,
really do.
thank you.
It's amazing what you do. It really is. It's a God-given gift, because
Oh, God guided.
yes,
I'm
yeah.
just the vessel.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it really is.
Hey, mute your phone when you're on a call.
That
That's so
happens to
weird.
me
My
during
ringer
the
is off.
That happened to me during I was interviewing
Mom.
somebody else. My
It's
alarm went
always mom.
off. Aw, aw, you're so good. And then how do people get in touch with you? Is there anything else on your head or your heart that we didn't discuss that you'd like to discuss?
Well, I am on, of course, Facebook as Jenny Mulks. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. And of course, you can reach me on my email at hello@jennymulks.com. And I will get back to you there as well. But you can also enter the Circle of Hope Cancer Support for free, the free membership. There will be benefits there. And I'd love for you to join our private Facebook group. You're going to get a ton of resources just right there. So please invite your listeners. I'm inviting your listeners to come join
Yes.
us there.
Yes, run.
Yes,
Definitely sign
run.
up.
And you
Go
know,
watch,
even
run.
this is the thing. It's so funny because when I was bringing some guest coaches into the circle too, they're like, "Well, what about for this disease and that disease?" I'm like, "Well, in reality, wellness touches every aspect of
Yes.
our lives, no matter what disease you're facing. But we're focusing on cancer and we're going to get really good at the wellness piece of it to try to make sure that everybody thrives the remaining days that they are here on this earth."
And I also don't think it's fair for somebody to ask you to focus on something other than cancer. Like
Yeah.
that's your thing, you know? Like
Or anything else you'd like me to do.
exactly.
Wash your car
You know,
too.
right,
I'm wearing
no.
a bear suit. Come on.
You got Capitol Hill, you got the bear suit, you have all these things going on. What more could you do for the world? And then there's power and focus. Like I love what you just said, you know, because focus is, I love universal law, you know, and the
Yes.
power of focus is people don't even understand it. You know,
Yes.
the whole Tony Robbins says it all the time, where focus goes, energy flows. You know, what we think
Yes.
about, we bring about. Bob Proctor, thoughts become things. You know, so when and I don't want you to be focused on 5,000 things. I want you to be focused on exactly what you're focusing on with the cancer and the kids with cancer and you know, the people that are dealing with cancer with your circle of hope. And because that if you stay as focused as you've been, Jenny, look at how fast you've grown, you know, with the nonprofit. I mean,
Yeah.
like, look at how powerful you've become in such a short amount of time. It's been years, but it hasn't been like 40 years. You know what
Right.
I mean? And
True.
you're on, oh my God, because of your power of focus. So you just keep doing you.
Well, and connection, like with people like you, seriously, that reach out, that want to share on your platform, and that, you know, makes other people engaged and go, "Hey, I want to know more about this." So that's so important. And I want to invite you onto my platform to give hope to other people that are facing that journey.
Yeah.
Because thrivers are important for people to see, like when they're first diagnosed, you know, that you need
Oh,
stories of hope.
absolutely. It's terrifying. And I love
Yes.
sharing this story because, you know, the doctors told me a few times I was going to die. You know, I wasn't going to make it out of the hospital. And I was like, get out of my room. I found out about the
Said
whole
to
other
me.
world. Like you, I was working on Wall Street. You were in pharmaceuticals, you know, but I had the Series 763 power lunches and didn't know anything about the whole inner world and how
Right.
powerful we are, you know,
Yeah.
as beings, as human beings.
Yeah.
And when we can share that message, you know, with the families and the patients and help them understand, like, we can add to the treatments, you know, like we don't have to
Oh,
just count on
wow.
the doctors. Like you showing up as the best version of you and knowing with the meditation, the visualization, the power of focus and the power of, you know, humor and all these other things, you know, healing is possible.
Yeah.
Healing is
And it's
possible.
funny because I actually used to do a lot of visualization when I was a college athlete, high school athlete. My high school volleyball coach was the one that started that. I didn't think about it right away for cancer, but
Oh
when I
yeah.
started my treatment, I would visualize the chemo coming in. I'd look at that, or that yellow bag that was kind of glowing, and I'd just look at it like liquid sunshine and liquid gold that's coming in to heal my body. And I
Yes.
really feel like that helped me not have such bad side effects with the chemo because I
Oh,
didn't fear it and my body wasn't fighting it, you
yeah.
know?
Yes, I agree. And I did the same thing and the cleansing and the white lights. And like you said, chemo's my friend, you
Yep.
know, give affirmation to the chemo. And I believe that that really is part of the cure.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you know, unless you've had cancer or really walked an intimate journey with somebody that's had it, you don't understand this comment maybe, but one of a very, very close friend of mine who had cancer and he had recovered at that time. And I said, how you feeling, Mike? And he said, cancer was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I was like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it changed his life so much
Yeah.
to have such a great appreciation for things and
I say that.
gratitude. Yep.
I say it's one of the biggest blessings. At the
Right.
time, I didn't consider it, when I was first diagnosed, I was screaming. But over time, it got, like I said to you before, it got me realigned with who I truly am. You know what I mean? I was so off purpose before the diagnosis, and there's so many blessings that happened as a result of it.
I
It's
wouldn't be
powerful.
doing what I'm doing had I not walked. I'd still be in pharma. I'm sure of it because I had the golden handcuffs. I'm a single sole provider for my son. So it was like, I can't go. And then I realized God will provide, and that's where the accidental cancer coach fell in.
Right.
Do you feel like it changed your life as far as your path too?
Oh, absolutely. I was working on Wall Street and I was so superficial. I loved my Chanel bag at my house out in the Hamptons with like 20 of my friends. That was my life. And I talk about that all the time. And then it forced me to stop and reflect and go inward. And I
Mm.
was just amazed. It was 1991, Jenny. It was before the movie The Secret came out. But I was literally like that chick Rhonda from the movie The Secret, where I could not get enough of the readings and the cassette tapes. I mean, I just consumed all that stuff. And the more I read and the more I listened to the audio tapes, the more powerful I became. It
Mhm.
was an unbelievable experience. And I'm all about vision and decision. I wrote a crystal clear vision of exactly where I wanted to be when the protocol was over. I would say to myself, okay, Erin, where do you want to be? Forget what the doctors are saying, because a few times they kept telling me I was going to die. And so I made the crystal clear vision. And I believe that this is all really important. And I love my doctors. I
Aw.
absolutely love my doctors. And and I still have a team of doctors to this day, that I absolutely love. Specialists. I love them.
Yeah, that's
We're
wonderful.
so powerful, but I do consider it a blessing.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah,
it's a great
it changed everything in my life. And that's how I started coaching in the 90s. The doctors at Sloan Kettering started having their patients call me at home because, like you, I was getting such an aggressive, I had an aggressive protocol beyond the local hospital's legal limits of chemo. And I can count on one hand the amount of times I got sick. And the doctors would just,
they're like, "How?"
respond. Yeah, yeah. And I went on to have 3 kids that they swore would never happen. And there's so many things, but I really believe in the power of the mind.
Mhm.
I really do. So it changed a lot of things. Anyway, Sloan Kettering started having their patients call me at home. And that's how I started coaching in the 90s. And I did it for free for years, just as a give
Right.
back. Because once you know something, you want the whole world to know it, So I
Right.
wanted the whole world to know what I did, during that time. And it could be whether you're growing in business, you can implement the same skills, what I did with the cancer. But
Right.
that's how I started in the 90s. And I've been
Mhm.
coaching for 30 years now.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, your intellectual property is worth something. It's worth
Yeah,
when we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on our medical treatment, it's worth a lot.
absolutely. Absolutely. And the experience that we have,
But
you
I mean,
know?
I would have loved to have had somebody like us
Yeah, me
when I
too.
was sick. I didn't see a wellness group. I didn't know there was a cancer coach. That kind of stuff my doctors weren't aware of. So that's an important thing to make an awareness out there to physicians and any providers,
And I want
Eastern or
everybody to
Western.
call you. Yes, absolutely. And I want
Mhm.
everybody to call you, seriously, because honestly, like you are the best cancer coach, I believe, on the planet.
Thank you.
On the
Oh,
planet,
that's a
and
huge compliment. Thank
yes,
you.
and I don't say anything unless I mean it, and everybody listening knows that, if I
You're
say
a Jersey
something,
girl. Of course you don't.
New York, not Jersey, New York.
Newark.
New York. But I mean it, and I want them, to call you. And if they have children with cancer, again, that's something I couldn't do, and you're doing it, and you're making a huge difference. All right, so tell people again how they can get in touch with you,
Reach
and
out
then
to me at hello@jennymulks.com.
hello,
Hello@jennymulks.com.
hello, and how do you do?
Hello, how
How
are
do you
you?
do? It
That's
was.
right, and if you need a Hope the Bear, you just let me know too.
You're so good. You are so good. Thank you so much for this, Jenny.
Thank you. It is an honor to be on here with you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and keep shining, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. You too. You
Thank
too.
you. I
So you've been
promise.
an amazing part of this whole Life on Track series, and you're a massive blessing. All right, everyone. So you'll be able to see this interview on lifeontrack.tv, on all the online streaming TV shows like Apple TV and Roku and Amazon Fire and all of that, and my YouTube channel, Erin Lay - Life on Track. So Jenny, thank you so much again. You're amazing. And everybody have a magnificent rest of your day. And always remember to live onward and upward. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.